Diabetes, often called sugar disease, is one of the most widespread health challenges of our time, affecting millions of people across the globe. Imagine a condition where the very fuel that powers your body, glucose, becomes both a source of energy and a silent threat. This disease is not just about numbers on a blood test, it is about lives, families, and futures. To understand diabetes, we must first understand the role of insulin, the hormone produced by the pancreas. Insulin acts like a key, unlocking the doors of our cells so that glucose from the food we eat can enter and provide energy. When insulin is missing, insufficient, or ineffective, glucose remains trapped in the bloodstream, leading to high blood sugar levels. Over time, this excess sugar damages blood vessels, nerves, and organs, creating a cascade of complications that can affect the eyes, kidneys, heart, and even the feet. There are different types of diabetes, each with its own story. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition where the body's defense system mistakenly attacks the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. It often begins in childhood or adolescence, and those who live with it must rely on daily insulin injections to survive. Type 2 diabetes, the most common form, is often linked to lifestyle factors such as poor diet, lack of exercise, and obesity, though genetics also play a role. In this type, the body either does not produce enough insulin or cannot use it effectively, a condition known as insulin resistance. Then there is gestational diabetes, which occurs during pregnancy and can affect both mother and child, increasing the risk of future type 2 diabetes. There are also intermediate stages like prediabetes, where blood sugar levels are higher than normal but not yet high enough to be classified as diabetes. This stage is a warning sign, a chance to change course before the disease fully develops. The symptoms of diabetes can be subtle at first. Increased thirst, frequent urination, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, blurred vision, and slow healing wounds are common signals, yet many people ignore these signs until complications arise. The danger of diabetes lies not only in its immediate effects but in its long-term consequences. It can cause blindness by damaging the blood vessels of the eyes, kidney failure by overwhelming the delicate filters of the kidneys, heart attacks and strokes by accelerating atherosclerosis, and nerve damage that leads to pain, numbness, and even amputations. The statistics are sobering. Millions of deaths each year are linked to diabetes and its complications, and the numbers continue to rise, especially in low and middle-income countries. But diabetes is not just a medical condition, it is a human story. It is the mother who struggles to manage her blood sugar while caring for her children. It is the young man who dreams of a future but must learn to live with daily injections. It is the elderly father who faces the risk of losing his sight. Each story is a reminder that behind every statistic is a life, a family, a hope. The good news is that diabetes can be managed, and in many cases, type 2 diabetes can be prevented. Lifestyle changes are powerful tools. A healthy diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins can help maintain normal blood sugar levels. Regular physical activity, at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, strengthens the body's ability to use insulin effectively. Maintaining a healthy weight reduces the risk of insulin resistance. Avoiding tobacco and limiting alcohol further protect the body. Early diagnosis through simple blood tests allows treatment to begin before complications develop. Treatment depends on the type of diabetes. People with type 1 diabetes need insulin for survival. Those with type 2 diabetes may start with lifestyle changes, but often require medications such as metformin, sulfonylureas, or newer drugs like SGLT2 inhibitors. Some eventually need insulin injections. Alongside blood sugar control, managing blood pressure and cholesterol is crucial to reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. Regular checkups for eyes, kidneys, and feet help detect complications early. Living with diabetes requires discipline, but it also requires hope. It is about learning to balance food, activity, and medication. It is about monitoring blood sugar and making choices every day. It is about resilience in the face of challenges. And it is about community because support from family, friends, and healthcare providers makes the journey easier. Globally, organizations like the World Health Organization have recognized diabetes as a major public health issue. Initiatives such as the Global Diabetes Compact aim to improve prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, especially in countries where resources are limited. Awareness campaigns on World Diabetes Day remind us that this is not just a disease of individuals but a challenge for societies. Yet beyond the science and the policies, there is a deeper message. Diabetes teaches us the importance of balance. It reminds us that our bodies are delicate systems that require care. It calls us to live mindfully, to respect the gift of health, and to take responsibility for our choices. It is a wake-up call to eat wisely, move regularly, and cherish life. So when we speak of sugar disease, we are not just speaking of glucose and insulin. We are speaking of humanity's struggle with modern lifestyles, with fast food and sedentary habits, with stress and neglect. We are speaking of the need to return to simplicity, to wholesome food, to active living, to spiritual and emotional well-being. Because health is not only physical, it is also mental and spiritual. Imagine a world where people understand diabetes not as a curse but as a teacher that warns us when we stray too far from balance, a teacher that guides us back to discipline and care, a teacher that reminds us that every meal, every step, every choice matters. This is the story of diabetes. It is a story of challenge but also of hope. It is a story that calls us to action, to awareness, to compassion. And it is a story that continues to unfold in every home, in every community across the world. Diabetes is not only a medical condition, it is a mirror reflecting the choices of our modern world. It shows us how far we have drifted from natural living, how easily convenience has replaced discipline, and how silently our bodies carry the burden of our habits. When we talk about sugar disease, we are not only talking about glucose levels and insulin injections, we are talking about the rhythm of life itself. Every bite of food, every step we take, every hour we spend sitting or moving, every moment of stress or calm, all of these weave together into the fabric of health. Diabetes is the unraveling of that fabric, but it is also the chance to reweave it with stronger threads. Prevention is the most powerful weapon against type 2 diabetes. Imagine a world where children grow up eating fresh fruits instead of processed snacks, where families walk together after meals instead of sitting in front of screens, where workplaces encourage movement instead of endless hours of sitting, where communities value health as much as wealth. In such a world, diabetes would lose its grip. The truth is that most cases of type 2 diabetes can be delayed or prevented through lifestyle changes. A balanced diet, regular exercise, and weight management are not luxuries, they are necessities. Yet prevention is not only about physical habits, it is also about mental and emotional well-being. Stress raises blood sugar levels, and chronic stress can push the body toward disease. Learning to manage stress through prayer, meditation, deep breathing, or simply spending time in nature is as important as any medicine. Let us imagine the daily life of someone at risk of diabetes. He wakes up tired, skips breakfast, rushes to work, eats fast food at lunch, spends hours sitting, comes home exhausted, eats a heavy dinner, and then watches television until late at night. This routine, repeated day after day, is a silent invitation to diabetes. Now imagine a different routine. He wakes up early, drinks water, takes a short walk, eats a breakfast of oats and fruit, works with energy, takes breaks to stretch, eats a balanced lunch, returns home and plays with his children, eats a light dinner, and sleeps on time. This routine is a shield against diabetes. The difference is not dramatic, it is simple choices repeated consistently. For those already living with diabetes, management is the key. Blood sugar monitoring is like a compass guiding daily decisions. Medication or insulin is like a tool helping the body find balance. Diet and exercise are like allies supporting the journey. But beyond these, there's the inner strength of the person. Living with diabetes requires courage, patience, and resilience. It is not easy to say no to tempting foods, to remember daily medicines, to face the fear of complications. Yet millions of people do it every day, proving that discipline is stronger than disease. The emotional side of diabetes is often overlooked. Many people feel guilt, shame, or fear when diagnosed. They ask themselves, why me? They worry about the future, about their children, about their dreams. But diabetes is not a punishment, it is a challenge. It is a call to rise, to take control, to live consciously. Those who accept this challenge often discover new strength within themselves. They learn to value health, to appreciate life, to inspire others. In this way, diabetes becomes not only a disease but a teacher. Communities play a vital role. Support groups, awareness campaigns, and education programs create an environment where people feel less alone. When a community understands diabetes, it becomes easier for individuals to manage it. Schools can teach children about healthy eating. Workplaces can encourage physical activity. Religious and spiritual centers can remind people of the importance of caring for the body as a gift. Governments can provide affordable healthcare and medicines. Together, these efforts create a shield around society. Technology is also transforming the fight against diabetes. Glucose monitors, insulin pumps, mobile apps, and artificial intelligence are making management easier and more precise. Imagine a device that continuously monitors blood sugar and alerts you before it rises too high. Imagine an app that tracks your meals and suggests healthier options. Imagine a future where technology and medicine work hand in hand to make diabetes less of a burden. That future is already beginning. Yet even with technology, the human spirit remains the most powerful force. A person who decides to live with discipline, who chooses health over convenience, who embraces hope over fear, can overcome the challenges of diabetes. This is the essence of motivation, the belief that change is possible, that effort is rewarded, that life is worth fighting for. Diabetes reminds us that health is not something we can take for granted. It is a treasure that must be protected every day. It is a responsibility not only to ourselves but to our families and communities. When we care for our health, we set an example for our children. We show them that discipline is strength, that balance is wisdom, that life is sacred. So let us not see diabetes only as a disease. Let us see it as a wake-up call, a chance to change, a reminder of what truly matters. Let us rise with courage, live with discipline, and inspire others with our journey. Because in the end, diabetes is not stronger than the human spirit. The human spirit, when awakened, is stronger than any disease. Diabetes is often seen as a heavy burden, but across the world there are countless stories of people who have turned this challenge into a source of strength. Take the story of a young woman diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 12. At first, she felt her dreams were shattered. She feared she could never live a normal life. But with courage and discipline, she learned to manage her insulin, monitor her blood sugar, and live fully. Today, she is an athlete, inspiring others by showing that diabetes does not define her, her determination does. Another story is of a father in his 40s who discovered he had type 2 diabetes. He was overweight, tired, and constantly stressed. The diagnosis shook him, but instead of giving up, he decided to fight back. He changed his diet, started walking every morning, and slowly lost weight. Within a year, his blood sugar levels were under control, and he no longer needed medication. His children saw his transformation and learned the value of discipline and health. His story is not just about numbers, it is about hope, about showing that change is possible. These stories remind us that diabetes is not the end of life, it is the beginning of a new chapter. It is a call to live consciously, to value health, to inspire others. And beyond the physical journey, there is a spiritual lesson. In many traditions, the body is seen as a gift, a trust, something sacred. Caring for it is not only a duty to ourselves but also a duty to God, to our families, to our communities. Diabetes teaches us humility, reminding us that we are not invincible. It teaches us gratitude, reminding us to cherish every moment of health. It teaches us discipline, reminding us that small daily choices shape our destiny. When we look at diabetes through this lens, it becomes more than a disease. It becomes a teacher of patience, a guide to balance, a reminder of faith. It tells us that life is fragile, but also that life is precious. It tells us that every meal can be an act of care, every walk can be an act of strength, every prayer can be an act of healing. Imagine standing before an audience and telling them, diabetes is not stronger than you. It is not stronger than your will, your faith, your love. You are greater than this disease because you carry within you the power to change, the power to inspire, the power to live. This is the climax of the story, the realization that diabetes is not the enemy but the challenge that awakens the hero within. So let us rise with courage, let us live with discipline, let us inspire with our journey, because in the end, diabetes is not the story of defeat, it is the story of resilience, of hope, of the human spirit shining brighter than any disease.